What up everybody, it's Hansol here, and as promised I'll be bringing you your Fire Mage PvP guide. Son,
The river now. We got it. I got it.
Who's the kill target?
Alright, so lately I've been getting a lot of the same questions in-game and private messages and in comments like that. So I just want to make this video to clear up all those questions, hopefully, and just educate you guys on how to play Fire PvP, because I know Fire got buffed, I know you guys know that, and apparently a lot of mages are going to try out Fire for the first time. So I want to try helping you guys out and enhance the Fire Mage community. And so hopefully this video will give you guys a brief idea on how to PvP as Fire. In this video, I'll be going over talents, glyphs, gearing and stats, maximizing damage, rotations, and the 4.3 changes to Fire and how that affects Fire PvP. So let's get started. Alright, so when it comes to stat priority, the list goes as follows: intellect, crit, haste, then mastery. Why this is built like this is because intellect, you gotta remember, is king. Because intellect increases your mana pool, it gives you spell power, it gives you a little bit of crit chance as well. So basically, int lets you last longer in fights with your mana, it gives you more damage from spell power, and more damage from crit, even more damage. So you gotta remember, you gotta be stacking int and enchanting into intellect and gemming to intellect as much as possible. Next one is crit, because no crit mean no dots from your ignites, because ignite can only proc if you crit, and same goes for hot streaks. So you know, mastery is last because mastery is useless if you don't crit in the first place. So maybe this season, once everyone gets full cataclysmic, this will change up a little bit. For the time being, crit will be most important. You gotta be critting like crazy because Fire revolves around crit. Next one is haste. Haste is really good because once you hit the haste soft cap, which I believe is 5.5% or 5%, and I experimented a little bit with this and went 12.5% because I saw some Fire Mages do that, and it was really fun because you would cast Scourge and Polymorph really fast, and in threes it would work really well, and also your dots would take a lot more, which also works really well as well. And if you're doing threes, I recommend you get more haste, and if you're playing with a frost mage, you don't really need to stack crit because you know their deep freezes and all their freezes, you know, helps you out with your shatters in the first place. So go for intellect and crit as much as you can, and try to forget mastery for a little bit, because mastery does give more damage on your dots. I've tried it before. I've even went to half crit, half mastery. I mean, it's alright, but you want to get those procs. Like, you want to be critting like crazy for the procs to come out, because if you have a lot of crit, you won't even be needing mastery, because you'll be critting so much that you'll get so many advantages and you'll have so many opportunities to be combusting that combust will just do a lot of damage anyways without mastery. So just remember that. And also, resilience fits into all 4 priority stats, because resilience is what keeps you alive, and as Fire you don't have much survivability, so you gotta be stacking that resil. You don't really want to be gemming for resilience or anything like that, but you want to be enchanting your chest with mighty resilience, which gives you 40 resilience rating, and you know, that will help you a lot. Right now I only have 4.2k resilience, but the reason being for that is because for my trinket I'm still using Dark Moon Card Volcano, and that has no resil to it. It gives you a lot of mastery, which is the reason I don't stack mastery, because I get enough from this. And I also reforge the mastery into crit because, like I said, I'm trying to stack crit. But a lot of mages play differently. I've seen mages go full crit, like all out. I've seen some go half crit, half mastery. I've seen some people get 12.5 haste first, and then after that stack crit. So I mean, it's all about how you want to play. Like all of those stats work really well. I mean, you can get far with all those stats, but you know, in the end, it's just how you want to play and what's comfortable for you, because they're all equal in the end. More crits, more dots, but if you're stacking haste, your dots will tick more anyways, and you'll be casting faster. But if you're casting mastery, you do less crits, but your dots will tick more anyways. So it's basically how you want to play and what works best for you. Right here, I got 8.4k spell power, 2% haste only because I just have my pants. So if I take my pants off right here, I'll have no haste at all. See, 0%. So I just keep that haste and don't reforge out of that. You got your hit chance. The hit chance cap is 4%. You gotta remember that. Before those 4 stats I talked about, int, crit, mastery, haste, before any of that, you gotta have 4% crit chance, because you don't want to miss on anything. If you're doing a shatter combo and one of those spell misses, you just messed up and didn't get a power proc when you could have, which really screws you over. Same goes to penetration. You need 195 spell penetration, so you don't get resisted from stuff like, you know, the aura from pallies and mages using mage armor, because it gives you resistance. So just remember to have 4% hit and 195% penetration rating. Sorry I keep messing up talking, I'm really tired here, and you know, I promised a guide for you guys and it's been a long time, so you know, I gotta really get this done. So yeah, I got 24.06% crit and 12.05 mastery, which is still going up every week because, you know, I'm replacing pieces every week. And a lot of people are also asking me why I'm not replacing my main pieces. I just got my cataclysmic robe like a few hours ago, and the thing is, any new season I get, I'm always getting the DPS trinket first because it gives you extra spell power, and a lot of spell power means a lot more damage. See, I have 8.4k spell power here. I pop my trinket, I have 10,000 in spell power. So with this, you get more crits, therefore getting higher ignites, therefore combusting with a lot more damage. So first thing you want to be replacing is your trinkets, and it gives you a lot of resilience as well. So I don't understand why you would get like your shoulders first when it's not much of an upgrade from last season in the first place. And then also, you gotta have around 7k conquest this season to get your weapons or anything like that. So, you know, whenever you can get your weapons, get it right away, because this is the most upgrade for anything. Especially because you want to be enchanting it with Pyre Torrent, which when it procs, it gives you a shitload of intellect. And for your offhand, you want to be enchanting with 40 intellect. You know, it got nerfed from 100 intellect a few patches ago, but I mean, it's still awesome. This is the reason I'm using dagger and offhand, because I can enchant my offhand with 40 intellect. And also, your dagger gives more spell power compared to the staff. I did go staff for a bit just to experiment, but I've always been dagger since the beginning, so you know, this is what I stick with. Alright, so I just recorded all my gems and enchants and all that stuff. I was just going to add everything, but the video came out to be like 30 minutes long, and I can't have that happening because I still have a lot more to talk about. So I'm just going to take out the enchants. I'm just going to put a link to my armory down below so you can copy everything. Everything's pretty straightforward, telling you why I have the gems and all that. I don't really need to do that. And same with the talents. Going down the whole talent tree and reading everything, it takes too much time, guys. Like, I don't mind spending the time to tell you guys this, but I don't want to like make you guys sit there for like an hour like learning all everything. Most of you guys probably already know what the talents do anyways, so you guys can read it for yourselves, and it's not hard to understand really. So I'm just gonna skip on to my glyphs and tell you why I have these glyphs, for the reason being. So for my prime glyphs, I have Glyph of Living Bong, Mage Armor, and Pyroblast. So why I have Glyph of Living Bomb is it increases the damage of your Living Bomb spell by 3%. Living Bomb is your main damage over time as fire. It might not be your strongest, but it is the reliable damage over time dot. Because you can use the spell anytime you want to, other than Pyroblast and Ignite. You can use Pyroblast whenever you want, but it won't be instant at all times. And you don't want to cast a full 3.5 seconds, you know what I'm saying? So next is Mage Armor. It regenerates 20% more mana than normal. It normally regenerates 4%, so with the Glyph it will be 24%. You should be using Mage Armor mostly 95% of the time as a Fire Mage, because with Mage Armor, with Glyph, you will never ever run out of mana. Trust me with this. And also, listen to this, I'll read this really quick for you. Increases your resistance to all magic effects by 45. So your enemies may resist you if they are not spell pen capped, like I talked before. They may resist you and you might mess them up a bit. And causes you to regen 4% of your maximum mana every 5 seconds. In addition, all duration of harmful magic effects used against you is reduced by 35%. So what this means by 35% reducing magic effects, say you're polymorphed and it lasts 8 seconds, okay? If you have Mage Armor up, it will last 5 seconds instead of 8 seconds because it will cut it down by 35. This goes for fears and silences and all the CCs that are magic related. So if you're using this in arenas or RBGs, the CCs will be cut down, your silences will be cut down, you will be taking 35% less damage from magic. So this gives you a huge advantage against casters. When you're dueling any casters, you should be using this. If you're fighting melee, use Frost Armor because it reduces physical damage taken by 50%, and it still restores 2% mana every 5 seconds. So it's not bad, but if you don't want to run out of mana, and if you're having mana problems, you should be using Mage Armor. I used to use Molten Armor when I started back in Cataclysm because I didn't really understand the full mechanics of Mage Armor, but now I never use Molten Armor, never ever. I think this is just for PvP now, so PvE now, for, you know, bursting phase and conserving phase, whatever it is. I don't PvE anymore, so yeah, that's just the reason behind using Mage Armor. You guys can use Molten Armor if you want, it's your choice, but I'm just recommending this. Recommending and forcing are different things. Remember guys, this is a guide. I'm not telling you how to play. This is just the way I play, so I can share my opinion with you guys, because, you know, I'm getting a lot of requests to make guides, and, you know, a lot of people are waiting for this, so I'm just making it for those that want the guide. If you don't want to watch it, if you don't want to learn, or if you already know all this, there's no point in watching, so no pun intended, you know. Alright, next one is Glyph of Pyroblast. It increases your critical strike chance of your Pyroblast spell by 5%. So say you have 25% crit. With this Glyph, you will basically have 30% crit when it comes to Pyroblast. But not just 30%, you will have 35% because with this talent point Critical Mass, anytime you use Scorch on a target, it gives them a debuff which increases your crit chance on the target by 5%, which is awesome, and it lasts 30 seconds. So it will basically be on the target at all times because you will end up using one Scorch per 30 seconds when trying to use your Shatter combos. So with this Glyph and with that talent, it helps you not having to stack crit too much. And also with your Fire Blast, improved Fire Blast, it increases the critical strike chance of it by 8%. So basically you will have like 33% crit chance with Fire Blast. And yeah, I'm gonna go into the Frost Tree in a little bit. This is what makes up the fire spec as well, so I'm gonna go into it in a bit when I'm telling you how to maximize damage. So back into the Glyphs. We're done the majors, we're done the primes now, so we're gonna go into the majors. I got Glyph of Evocation, Glyph of Frost Armor, and Glyph of Polymorph. So starting with Evocation, whenever you evocate, it also regains 40% of your health over its duration. So not only does it regain mana, but with this Glyph you will regain health too. So it's basically healing. If you can get a free cast off with this, it is extremely awesome. I will go into some tactics on using Evocation so you can get it off full duration or at least a few ticks without getting interrupted. Next is Frost Armor. Your Frost Armor also causes you to regenerate 2% of your maximum mana every 5 seconds. This is why I get mana from this. Normally you wouldn't regain mana, but when you're cutting melee and you might go which means out of mana, you should be using this Glyph, so it helps you not out of mana as much. And last but not least is Glyph of Polymorph. Whenever you polymorph a target, it takes off all the debuffs on the target. So say you have Living Bomb on the target and you polymorph him without the Glyph. You polymorph him, but your Living Bomb that's currently on the target will break the polymorph, right? You know what I'm saying? So if you have this Glyph on and you polymorph the target with Living Bomb, it will take off all dots on the target, so the polymorph will have a full effect duration. So this is required for arenas or anything, because without this you will just have troubles and you won't even be using polymorph because there would be no point. You would just heal them for you know, whatever amount. And for your miners, it doesn't really matter what you use for this, doesn't really matter. But I use Glyph of Arcane Brilliance, which reduces the cost of your Arcane Brilliance by 50%. So it doesn't eat up your mana as much. Like for example, if you're fighting a mage or like a healer in RBGs or whatever duels, they will be spell stealing, so you can just reapply it without having to use too much of your mana. So that helps. You have Glyph of Slowfall. I think you should get this one because your Slowfall will require no reagent. Normally you have to get these like feathers from birds, but with this you can be using Slowfall whenever you want. Like I would have used like 10,000 reagents if I fucking didn't have this Glyph. So yeah, you should get this one. I think every mage has that, so you probably know that. And the last one is Glyph of Penguin. This is just nothing. It just, instead of making the polymorph target into sheep, it just turns him into penguin because I don't know, I guess I like penguins. Alright, so next up, we'll be talking about maximizing damage as fire. In order to maximize damage as much as you can, you gotta be putting your points, secondary points, into the frost tree. So let's go a little bit in depth into this right now. The first one you would be spending it in is Piercing Ice. It increases the critical strike chance of all your spells by 3%. So this is helpful for any class, doesn't matter what class you are. If you have extra crit, it is always a bonus. Next one would be Shatter. I extremely love this talent so much. This is what makes me play Fire Mage, other than Combustion of course, but what this does is multiplies your critical strike chance of all your spells against frozen targets by 3%. By 3 I mean. And increases the damage of, oh no, that doesn't even matter. So what it does is it multiplies your crit chance. So say you have 33.33 crit chance with everything added together. If the target is frozen, you would actually have 99.99% crit chance on the target. So if you have 33.34% crit chance and the target is frozen, then you will have guaranteed crits on that target no matter what. It doesn't matter what spell it is, but it will crit on the target all the time. So this is like crazy good, like I can't even explain. With this you will get guaranteed power procs. You don't have to just spam Scorch just trying to fish out power procs. You can just use this to your best ability to get your power procs, and you'll know when you're going to have your pyros and how you're going to use them. So what you really want to do is you want to Frost Nova the target, catch a Shatter combo which consists of Scorch and then a Fire Blast. That will guarantee your power proc, and after you want to freeze him again with Cone of Cold and then Pyro Blast for a guaranteed crit with Pyro Blast as well. So if you're like, what, Cone of Cold freezes the target? I'll talk about it right here actually. The next tier in the Frost tree is called Improved Cone of Cold. Your Cone of Cold also freezes targets for 4 seconds. So basically normally your Cone of Cold would only slow the target, but with this talent it's also going to freeze him. So basically as fire you still have 2 types of freezes even though you're not frost. So that's really awesome. It helps you get guaranteed crits and helps you get guaranteed ignites, and which helps you get combust. And that's what you're trying to score for. Every fight you're trying to get up all your dots with a really nice ignite so you can get combust up and get a guaranteed kill. Alright, so as you guys all probably know, fire did get buffs in the 4.3 changes, and a lot of people have been QQing about it, non-fire mages of course, but I have been fire since patch 3.3.3, and all I gotta say is after they nerfed Fiery Payback, fire never got any love from Blizzard. But I stuck with it. I couldn't abandon fire just because it got nerfed. I just loved it too much. And I just stuck with it, and I guess they just ended up rewarding us. So you know, even if fire gets nerfed, you know, next patch or whatever, I'm still gonna stick with it because it's too much fun for me, and I will continue making fire PvP videos even if we get nerfed. So I just want to say that for you guys. And I do not play Frost. For those of you that have searched up my armory and have seen my Frost primary spec, it's just for when dueling, and when my ice block is on cooldown, I switch specs for the next duel and cold snap and come back to fire basically. So my ice block is up whenever I need it. So yeah, that's just for your guys' information. Just I never use fire. I do arenas, RBGs, everything has fire. Alright, so I'm just gonna demonstrate my shatter combo to you guys on this rogue. She agreed to be my target dummy. Right here I'm just gonna use molten armor though. Or no, actually I shouldn't because I don't use molten armor. Alright, let's start with the Scorch and Living Bomb. Or no, freeze him first. Shatter combo right here. Freeze him again. Instant Pyro. It's Living Bomb and Combust. So I'm just gonna wait for the dots to heat it up. That's how much fire can input, guys. If you play it perfectly and do everything right and time everything, you can do that much damage. Even on resilience targets. Alright, so that's going to conclude my Fire Mage tutorial for you guys. For now, that is. If you guys do want some more tips and all that, just write it down in the comments, and I will create a advanced tactics guide one day. Maybe not now, but in the near future. I hope you did learn something or learn a lot of things. Just keep in mind this was a beginner's Fire Mage guide, so it was just the basics. I still have a lot of more secrets and a lot of more good strategies that I use as fire that I don't see too many Fire Mages using. I may share it with you guys depending on how I feel about it. But if you did enjoy the video, please click the like, thumbs up button, and also put in your favorites, which would help me out a lot, and I would extremely appreciate it. And it would motivate me more to make more PvP videos for you guys and even help you guys out more. And that, you know, it's a win-win situation. You get more videos, you get more tips, and I get more publicity. So yeah, thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys next time.
So sorry, little mama, gotta do my thing. Young Mel, where you headed?
I don't even know. I just need to go somewhere.
What?
Hopefully I can catch it just by.